One thing that defines Black communities is our collective history.
The Black community is vibrant, it's resilient, faithful, militant,
in progress.
An interesting, amorphous thing.
Looking out for, you know, a Black sister or Black brother.
It usually happens through tragedies like Trayvon Martin, Oscar Grant, Ramarley Graham.
We're disconnected. We are not a full people. I don't think we ever were, but at one point in time we were heading towards that. And now it's just like we're all over the place.
So you have a Black gay community. You have a middle-class Black community. You have a ghettoized Black community. But until we actually are able to broaden our definition of Black, we're not going to be able to work collectively to do something.
Middle-class Black people already have the idea of, like, you know, lower-class Black people, bringing them down, and like they think that lower-class Black people are bad. We're different Black people. We're the good Black people.
I was that child who could not go outside of my gate and play with anybody in my neighborhood unless they came to me. They just didn't want me to be outside, you know, getting influenced by, I guess, my neighborhood.
How do we have community when you just kick out the unfortunate people who haven't learned to control themselves?
But when it comes down to those boxes that we're checking, it separates us based on demographics or financial status or religion or whatever it is. They're always going to be there. It's just, what do you choose to pay attention to?
I think it's money, probably. It's just straight dollars.
Just go out there, get your dollar. I think that's how Black people program.
Just like Americans tend to have tend to support the idea of business, they tend to support the idea of individuals become wealthy. Black people tend to support that.
Despite all of the violence that sometimes we see in the media, Black communities are full of love, generosity, and sharing.
We all have something in common, which is love.
Black people love each other in ways that other races can't do. Like, we have tough love.
To me, Black community means providing opportunities when you can.
There's a lot of things that we still do collectively in terms of sharing resources.
One common value that I feel that unites the Black community is the value of resistance. I consider it a value. Resistance against oppression, specifically white supremacy. You look all over the African diaspora, there's evidence of us resisting that.
One of the things that a lot of people, I think, have made the error is to assume that there is a consensus or a form of a Black community that is a whole. And in reality, there really was never a so-called Black community that was a whole, except during the time of chattel slavery and the antebellum. In that time, the consensus of Black people was they didn't want to be in bondage of slavery.
There is a Black community, but we are spiritually broken.
We are broken as a people, you know, as a culture.
We are broken and we don't always relate to each other in the best way.
We're not just dealing with, like, back in the day they did these bad things. No, after slavery was over, we had the Reconstruction. That was what, 5 years of things being halfway decent before Jim Crow laws came.
That feeling is passed down. It's passed down generation to generation. So we still feel hurt, even though we didn't go through it. We still suffer the repercussion.
We are and have been at the bottom of almost every important social and economic indicator.
You look at the school system in Baltimore City, we're in the state that it is now. You know what I'm saying? Something would be done about it. Something drastic would be done about it.
Our resources have been taken from us, so we're struggling.
We may have lost a sense of self.
Despite all the hardships that we've had to deal with in this country, Black people have still found a way to maintain a sense of community despite that.
We have a lot of strength that is still untapped and potential that is still yet to be realized.
We have to get back to being united.
There is a shared history of struggle, and it is the beginning of something that we can work on if we're all willing to see it as a collective struggle and not as, I got mine, you go get yours.
In order for the Black community to heal, I feel as though it needs a lot of love.
Before you honestly can reach out and love somebody else, you gotta love yourself.
Feeling safe and
content with where you are as a person and as a community.
You gotta be strong, you gotta be an open person to overcome these obstacles where it's hard to love each other in a community.
Understand that we're not alone in this journey of being let down all the time. There are people that want to help.
I want to help you because we are of the same community.
If they see something that's going on, not turning their nose up at it, thinking that somebody else should do it instead.
Having more conversations, asking more questions, being more concerned, as opposed to just saying, don't do this, don't do that, don't act like this, don't be like that. You gotta talk to people.
Healing is needed to give us the confidence and courage to build the kind of system that can put love and connectedness and well-being at the forefront.
We want to take care of each other just like other communities and other ethnicities take care of their families and their people.
Not everyone loves. Not everyone has the willingness, that push to partake in that.
If we understood love to encompass being patient, being sweet with one another, we wouldn't be beating our children into the hard shell that therefore can't take in learning, can't take in information, just hard. And that has become our calling card.
People don't like to love because, one, they feel like they're too embarrassed because like you have terms like thirsty or pressed. It's like it's not okay to love type thing. And that's what I think people are scared of. They're scared of having those titles.
I don't think it's really that they don't really like each other or don't want to love each other. A lot of people are angry because things aren't going the way they think they should go.
Fear of their love being rejected.
Letting other people's opinions affect the way they look at things, the way they see things.
So the challenge, both intellectually and politically, is to kind of understand simultaneously the challenges involved with being Black, the material challenges, the material deficits we face because we are Black, and at the same time emphasize and embrace the rich cultural legacy of being Black.
Until this country truly acknowledges the legacy and the pain and the ongoing pain and the ongoing systems based off of chattel slavery, we're never going to excise the wound.
Our identity is so much so connected and intertwined with the identities of African people worldwide that when we make those connections, we will be much stronger.
Your story is what makes you who you are.
People feel as if their fate is set in stone and eventually makes it hard to love throughout your life.
When I am loving in that way that encompasses people, we all can think and act much more effectively and get ourselves out of our hyper fear and flight state.
It's strength when you can love when it hurts. People are often unreasonable, illogical, and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you're kind, people may accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. If you're successful, you will win some false friends and true enemies. Succeed anyway. What you spend years building, someone could destroy overnight. Build anyway. The good you do today, people will often forget tomorrow. Do good anyway.